BMore City. Get out my way. Hey, family. Hey, family. Steve Copeland. You know what? I was getting ready to sing my song from the couch conversation. Steve Copeland. I was getting ready to sing my song. This is Today is Saturday, family. This is BMore's Real Teen Talk Show. B Moore's Real Teen Talk Show. I'm Steve Copeland. I said I'm gonna start calling myself Big Unk when I do the Teen Talk Show. But look, just to help y'all understand, parents, I like saying this. You are the voice. You are the solution for our youth. What I mean when I say that, anything that our children are struggling with in life, you know, it's the parents' job to get them the proper help that they need. Rather it's education, rather it's therapy, you know, a lot of our children deals with, for TikTok's sake. Okay, I gotta watch what I say for TikTok's sake. Normally, what I do, family, um, I am the voice, which I start out talking about certain things from childhood on up. And the reason why I do this, family, is to give others an opportunity to open up as well, right? So that's why I love doing what I do. Um, Having a housing program where I work with women and children, anytime people travel from house to house, right, there's a good chance something can happen. I'm sorry. And when I say something could happen, there's a good chance that when a family is traveling from house to house, somebody can be, somebody can get molested or raped. See, I got to say this for, I got to watch it because of TikTok. So I have to use the word when it comes to TikTok. I have to use grape for TikTok. Not only our children might be dealing with certain issues, we might have had certain things happen to us. Our experience when we was younger, something that happened to us. And y'all already know, I shared it a little bit earlier. Hey Amir, I shared it a little bit earlier, right, on one of my lives. I'm old school. So it was told to us, and I'm quite sure they probably still say it today. What happens in the house stays in the house. Now my thing is, that's a goddamn gonna lie. And the reason why I say and the reason why I say that, family, that's why a lot of our children get taken advantage of. That's how some of us, when we was coming up, was taken advantage of. So, wait a minute, let me because I'm trying to get my stuff ready for my TikTok too. And I don't want to be stumbling all over my words. But this is what I do, family. This is what I'm all about. Baltimore City. My thing is, right, whatever issues our children are dealing with, look at this. As the parents, we are the ones that have to get them the proper help that they need. For some reason, the youth that's been going down Fells Point been popping up in my head. Now, I'm not saying they can't go nowhere and have fun. Please don't get that wrong. Please don't get it wrong. The point is, don't go and tear stuff up. And if you are a responsible, productive parent, this is how we teach our children. My children can tell you, they're grown now, but they can tell you the same way my mother taught us to respect our elders and our teachers is the same way I taught my children. And if my children disrespected their teachers or their elders, I had to go get me some more leather belts. I would tear their butt up. Officer Friendly, you heard what I said. Cause look, one day with my 27-year-old, she was about 10 or 11, right? And I was gonna whoop her butt. I forgot what happened about the police. Either I called the police or she called the police, something happened. But I told the police I was gonna whoop her butt. And he said, you know I could lock you up. Now why would you tell me that? I said, guess what? I'd rather whoop her butt than to see you take her out. And he turned around and walked away. I'd rather whoop that butt as far as disciplining her. And my son and the rest of them, they know dad, than to have y'all do something to them. That's why we got a lot of juveniles in the juvenile system, and y'all know it, that's being taken advantage of. We did a protest at the one on Pennsylvania Avenue. Okay? I mean, I'm sorry. I meant Greenmount and Eager on that corner. Let me hide this right here, fam. Okay, thank you. You out my way. And I'm only saying this, family, because as a parent, we have to be very, very careful who we allow around our children. My wife and I didn't leave our children with any and everybody. We didn't do it. And the only reason why I'm saying that, family, because we have to be responsible parents. I did a topic one day, right, on can an unhealthy parent, right, raise a healthy child? And if you don't have yourself together, and if you full of chaos and confusion, that's the only thing you can give back to your children. If you full of chaos, confusion, hatred, bitterness, and all this type of stuff, that's all you can give back to your children. That's why, I'll be honest with y'all, my oldest one, I was 26 when she came. I was still in the game thing, right? So she didn't see daddy use it. She didn't see that destructive lifestyle. And I thank God, I do. I thank God that she did not experience that. She didn't see that behavior with her own two eyes. She only knew what daddy told her as she began to get older. Steve and Sienna came after I got clean. Sienna is 25. Little Steve is 23. A lot of stuff I was not sharing with Steve and them as far as that lifestyle. You get me? Because I didn't want to brag and boast about that lifestyle, Amir. I didn't want to make my kids think it was okay to go out there and be on the corner to do this. I wasn't a corner person, but I put it out there. Be and do this and do that, right? I didn't share with my kids how my mother, my family, and we was the one with the package out there. See, I have to talk about me because it's not, I'm starting to stutter. It's not to include my family. But it was a family thing. You get me? That's why, look. Sometimes I act goofy, y'all. Y'all gotta forgive me. That's why sometimes, right, when I look back at it, to be serious with y'all, having 33 and a half years clean, right? Having 33 and my children, well, breaking that cycle, breaking that generational curse. And I realized that one day when I was sitting around and it dawned on me, nobody after us shot dope, shot cane, did the alcohol the way we did, being drug addicts, stuff like that. And it hit me one day. The cycle is broken. What they call it, the generational curse, is broken. And when I look back over at my family now, and I look at my oldest niece, then I look at the ones that I raised, my niece and nephews, my couple of nieces and nephews, right? I look at them, none of them was caught up like we was. Not in that lifestyle. And it makes me feel so good. Because when mines came along, I was afraid that they might have got into certain things like I did. But then it hit me one day, they not seeing you acting or doing this, acting in that way, right? And it made me feel good as a father, as an uncle, because I raised my nieces and nephews. Their mother used. They couldn't understand, Uncle Steve, how you got clean, and my mother, she got clean, but she would turn around and use again. Then she would get clean, then she would use again. And my niece couldn't understand why her mother kept doing what she was doing. But see, one thing I know about this family, now listen to what I'm saying, parents. Listen, right? One thing I know, if you don't do the inside work on yourself, if you don't do the inside work on yourself to find peace and love and joy and happiness within yourself, yes, you're going to run to outside sources. And that's what our children do a lot of times. It's the peer pressure. Get that part. Now, if you raise them right, when they're around their friends, like when little Steve grew up with a lot of white kids because he played soccer, right? His girlfriend is white. So for some of y'all that got a problem with that, that's your problem, all right? That's your problem. Don't come my way with it because I got biracial nieces and nephews. So I don't play that. I don't play that white man, white, black. I don't do it. And I know a lot of y'all have family members that's mixed or white, married to white individuals, and y'all will get on TikTok, y'all will get on stuff and say, why people this and why people that? Look at the way I said it. Why people this? Why people that? You sound like you back in 1619. You forgot this 2026. But look, let me go here. Because I like to do this. I like to do this, family. Because God have a tendency all right, no problem. I'm going to go ahead because what I was taught coming up after I got clean, I have to say a little something so people can relate to where you're coming from, right? Check this out, family. 11 years old, right? Started smoking the plant. For TikTok's sake, y'all know what it was. Acapulco Gold. right? I would just take 2 hits. That's all. Toe up. I don't know what that thing is they smoking today. Toe up. 11 years old. 13 years old. I just finished my coffee. I had turned 13. I became a teenager. So I celebrated with a cup like this. It was a Tupperware cup, just like this. Full of Thunderbird. 13 years old. 14 years old, Dr. K. The Cocoa. 14. You know why I'm saying this? Because when I look at our children, babies running around getting high, I'm like, what in the world is going on? 14. $15 old. I remember asking my cousin, right, parents, please listen. I said, can you shoot this for TikTok's sake? Pew pew. Okay. She said, yeah. I said, hit me. I didn't get clean until I was 30. When I got clean, family, I did H&I, where we would go into hospitals and institutions and stuff like that to encourage and empower and inspire our people. So I would go into places like Shepherd Pratt. They babies. Woodburn. When I say they babies, they young. They young. They young. And they in there trying to get their lives together. 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm like, what in the world? Know why I'm saying that? Because it took me back to me. Now I'm clean. I'm a grown man. Right? I'm grown. And I'm looking at babies. I started the 11, 13, 14. Some of them started younger than me. Now I'm going to tell y'all now, a lot of the kids back then, I know they grown now. They grown because they was like 10, 11, 12, 13, however, right? But now I'm talking about over 20 years ago. Over 25. Right? So I'm saying me. Parents, that's why I'm saying giving our youth a voice, because that's what we are for them. The solution to whatever issues they might be having and getting them the proper help that they need. See how passionate I am when it comes to this. You get it? Now, mind you, my mother, I got marks, track marks. Our mother said, what is that? I said, railroad tracks. I'm about 15 years old, family. With tracks on my arm. My mother said, what is wrong with you? I didn't know. I just knew I was running from something. I was trying to sedate my feelings and emotions. So when I look at guys and women and people who's caught up with using, and I'm watching them walk around, right, looking like zombies. Because their spirits are unalive. And the first thing that come to my mind, oh my God. What is wrong with you? In him. In him. What is going on in him? What happened in your past or whatever that's causing you to sedate your feelings in the here and now? with running around selling yourself. I did that too. I call myself a retired sugar daddy. I was no different than that 304 people be talking about. I was a male 304. 608. What is it, 12012? But look, because I can be honest about me. I ain't like a lot of people like to lie and continue manipulating. I'm too goddamn old for that. You get me? But guess what? What young person can relate to what I'm saying? You're 13. You're 14. Check this out. When I started doing some step work on myself, right after I got clean and got into the steps, I had to be honest with me. Watch what I'm saying. Watch what I'm saying. I had to be honest with me. I had to learn to get honest with me. I had to learn to have faith back in me. I had to learn how to trust me, young people. My young princes and kings and queens, and I had to learn to be honest with me. I had to learn to have faith back in me. I had to learn to trust back in me. That helped build up my courage, my confidence, because I didn't realize my self-esteem was about as low as an ant. I didn't understand. Now, I'm doing this time now, I don't want to throw the whole NA program at you. But I just want you to see how I had to go in the inside. And if you're young, I understand it might not be clear to you as much. But the good part is I was able to go in. Because now, in those areas where I was used to telling a lie, family, I had to learn to be truthful with me. In those areas where I was used to being dishonest and I carried hatred, I carried anger, I carried fear, I carried resentment, I felt abandoned. I'm talking about as a child coming up, because I never met my father. I don't know if he's living or not. But Dad, if you're still out there, I'm 64 years old now. You gonna owe a lot of child support. Let me stop. I like saying that sometimes. You gonna owe a lot of child support, and I want my money. Give me my money now. Give me my money. I just say that, family, because I don't know if he's living or not. But I grew up without a dad. My mother did the best she could with me. You get me? So now look. Because that might throw me off something. But I want our young people to understand, whatever you dealing with, it's okay. Now guess what? Because I started out real young, getting high. Young. When I got clean, guess what? I'm sitting in the living room, right? Now I have a little courage, confidence. I'm believing in Steve. It was real bright in the living room, family. I'm doing an inventory, a fearless moral inventory. Taking a moral inventory of myself. So I got to go inside. Guess who I had to dress in the inside? That little 5-year-old. And I'm a grown man. I'm a grown man. Right? So I'm going in. The 5-year-old is like in the corner and he balled up. Talk about me. He balled up. I'm talking about me. The adult Steve had to go over to the younger Steve and grab him and say, I got you. Because the adult now had to make sure that kid be well protected. Now I'm talking about myself, protecting myself. Can you understand what I'm saying? That 5-year-old little boy was hurt. Now you got the adult Steve who had to go embrace him and say, I got you. I'm talking about myself. All right? Please feel what I'm saying. To our younger generation, feel what I'm saying. I had to go inside and embrace that young person, that little boy, the grown-up now, had to protect and let that little boy know, I got you. You're going to be okay. And I'm saying this because I know y'all are young. And sometimes we have to go back and address those childhood traumas. And I didn't want to use that word for TikTok's sake because they have certain different words for community reasons. So I can say this right here. I have to look up other ways. I had to go back and visit my childhood stories. I had to go back and visit my childhood experiences that tends to cause grown-ups pain and misery in their lives today. Now, mind you, I'm talking about that 5-year-old, right? But I remember during the time, too, when I was drinking and drugging and doing what I was doing, right? I kept having a vision of this 18-month-old baby. I'm inside, being choked on a penis. Love you, TikTok. An 18-month-old baby. I never did that to nobody. I never seen that happen. I believe that 18-month-old baby was me. I'm only sharing this, family, because I want our youth to know and understand it's okay. Not just the youth, I want the adults to understand it's okay. I accepted the fact that 18-month-old baby was me. I remember asking my mother. My mother told me that she told my father he could never see me no more, but she never told me why. For some reason, the two kept coming together. Did he do something to me that made her tell him he couldn't see me no more? She's gone. She's gone. She's not here for me to ask. So I accepted the fact. Listen to the words I said. I accepted the fact that there's a good chance I was raped as a child, as a baby. Then my uncle said something out of his mouth one day. He said, your father, he said, was a bodybuilder. He said, your dad was a bodybuilder, right? And this is what my uncle said when I was coming up. He said, your dad was a bodybuilder. And I think he was 2. Get it? I'm trying to think of a great word for TikTok, right? I think he was happy. You get it? I remember my uncle saying that. I was probably a teenager when he said that too. So now, mind you, once I got clean, then look at all of this, little by little by little by little by little, is coming. Stuff is coming. Now I gotta look at me. Big Unc gotta look at Big Unc. Look, Big Unc gotta look at Big Unc. I had to go back and face those demons that I've been running away from. And I'm going to tell y'all, it was only because of the courage, the confidence. You know, because when you have trauma or challenges in life, right? Trials, tribulations, stuff like that. We endure them in life. Is how you come up out of it. I don't never, let me make this clear. And I know I only have today, right now. I don't ever again want to use. I don't care what's been going on in my life. Sometimes the thought might come by, and it will come by, and it's like, bye. Because I don't ever, just for the day, want to pick that stuff up. Smacks for TikTok's sake. Sex. Smacks. Let me move back some. For TikTok's sake. Right? Was an addiction for me as well. So I'm going to just say this because I do not have a problem with it, family. I have an addictive personality. And what I begin to understand, I can't do one of nothing. Sometimes. I will overdo it. The point is, to this day, family, and for our younger generation, I try my best not to make outside sources my God. Because if I'm hurting inside, you know I want to sedate my feelings. And sex was a major way too that I would sedate my feelings. I used to weigh over 300 pounds. Listen to me. Listen, family. So by me being big, to me I was a bully. You get me? I ain't play. Now I'm like 200 pounds, a little under 2. I can't even tell you when last time I was this small. But I can tell you now, I've been doing the necessary things to live a more healthier, productive way of life. The same way I sponsor men and women with children. The whole goal is to help them. If they live, 9 times out of 10, if you come to me and ask for help, you coming into my housing program, right? I'm going to sign you up. You're going to have to sign up for the mental health program. That don't mean you have mental issues. So listen to what I'm saying to our young people as well, our young adults, okay? You can be dealing with depression. You could be dealing with things like that. But the goal is to get you the proper help that you need to balance you out here. Mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. This is what I do. When I shared about my 4th step, going inside of myself, I took y'all in with me. Now I'm 64 years old, gentlemen. I ain't got no problem talking about Steve Copeland, but understand the work it took, right? Because I had to learn to be honest with me. It's not about y'all. I remember playing 5 years old, stuff like that. I'm going to say, what is it? I could say husband and wife, right? But remember playing house. And we did a little grinding at a real young age. See, I got to watch words for TikTok. And we did a little grinding. I went to a therapist and talked about that. Talked about the 18-month-old baby. Then I was talking about how I was acting out around 5, 10, 9, bumping and grinding, little stuff like that. She said that was called smexual for TikTok's sake. Curiosity. Sexual curiosity. Smexual curiosity for TikTok's sake. That's what she called it. But I was trying to find out, was I really relentless? Was I really right as a child? You see why I'm talking like this, my youth? Because I understand today as a grown man, when I put that in me, and I started, I was running from something to our younger generation. Now, everybody don't use outside stuff to deal with their feelings and emotions. They might be in a destructive behavior. It's okay. But what I did and what I do, when you sign up for my housing program, mothers and mothers with children, you get what I'm saying? They 7 and up. You have to sign them up for the mental health program as well. Because what we want to do is get to the root cause of the behaviors. Y'all heard what I just said? It's getting to the root cause. A lot of people run. You running from yourself. And I'm going to say this, because I'm on TikTok a lot. Y'all know that. I watch all these platforms for adults. You don't have many where they might represent the children as parents. Now, I'm not trying to be smart, and this is not true for all of y'all. Because of your behaviors that I spot over here, I can imagine what your children going through, even if they're adults. Because you're only giving back what's inside. And if you're not healthy, I know they ain't healthy. Then if you marry, check this out. If you married and you going around saying all men this, all men that, and you got sons, and you got a husband, I know what you're taking them through. Because you're going to act one way over here. But then when you in the house, like, hey, boo, how you doing, boo? Yeah, right. I understand. I went through that. Mental, emotional, and verbal abuse. I rolled out. So, if you unhealthy inside parents, we'll pass it down to our children. And then you wonder why Baltimore City, our children out there being so destructive. Our children out there becoming gang members because they're looking for love in all the wrong places. My goal with the work that I do is to help you learn to love you. Embracing yourself. No, I'm not a licensed clinical professional. I'm coming to you with personal life experience and how God or higher power or power greater than myself brought me up out of it, where I had to let go of that anger, which I had to let go of the resentments that I've been carrying, the hatred, the bitterness. I had to learn to let it go. Because I realized that was the stuff that was causing me a lot of pain and misery all of my life. I had this wall up to protect myself. So I understand, and I'm talking to our youth, when you have that wall of protection up. Parents, I just want you to understand this. If your child do not come to you and tell you what's going on with them on a personal note, they don't trust you. Believe it. Now, listen to a parent. That's why I had to make sure my kids trusted daddy enough that no matter what's going on in their life, they can come and talk to daddy. 23, 25, stepdaughter 27, that's my daughter. 31, that's my daughter, stepdaughter. But they are my daughters. I raised them. My 37-year-old, the doors are open. My nieces, my nephews, y'all already know Uncle is here. Y'all already know. They used to call me Uncle Daddy Steve. My nieces, and I'm talking about my sister kids that I raised. Because that's how the family was. I became a foster care provider because I did not want to see my nieces and nephews with people they didn't know. That's why I became a kinship foster care provider. I did mentoring to fill that gap of the father not being in a child's life. For 10 years, I had a commitment over the prison family. I used to go in every Friday in the Wide building back in the 90s, encouraging and motivating our men for when they come home to do the right things. Even if you and the mother don't even get along together, get along with your children. I know how it feels to be a child, but I'm grown, and your dad not in your life. It's an abandonment issue. You feel abandoned. See, the youth might can't share this with y'all, but I am, because I'm grown. And I feel like this sometimes. I thank God for being God. The reason why I say that, because sometimes when I feel that void, Dad, where you at? Dad, why you never reached out to me? I'm pretty well known. You can Google me if you want to. You can talk to AI. AI gonna tell you about the big mouth, bald head black dude in Baltimore City. AI gonna tell you about him. Dad, I'm gonna say this. I don't think you want to reach out to me because I'm 64, and you know I might want some child support now. And I haven't added up how much it might be, but I'm just making a joke out of it, family. Stop hating on me. And I want to share this too, because I am the type of person that know how to be honest with himself. Be truthful with himself, because I love Steve Copeland. Let me make that clear to a lot of y'all. There he go. He running off with his mouth. Because I love Steve Copeland. So when you say stuff like that out your mouth towards me, why you can't talk about you like I can? I don't have to go back and talk about Adam and Eve's story. I don't have to go back and talk about Moses, Elijah, Jeremiah. I don't have to go back and gossip about their story, because that's all we doing is called gospel. But I tell you this, I can look at certain stories from what I read in Bible and say, oh my God, I remember experiencing that. I remember going through that. So it comes to life to me. My children was raised up in the church. They don't go like they used to when they was younger. When they make that decision to give their life, they make the decision to Christ. That'll be on them. Not something that was forced from their parents. Now this is what I ask God in the process of everything I do. Do not, because somebody ran it across me, right? How David's children suffered because of his sins. Those are mine. My sins are my sins. And I prayed and I asked God not to allow my children to suffer because of the things I've done in life. You get it? They mine, I own them. They didn't do it. And I'm not trying to be smart, and I'm sick and tired of holding my tongue back for certain things. My first 5 years, when God delivered me from the drugs and the alcohol, I'm up in Brown's Memorial. I was a very, very religious guy. Do you believe in Jesus Christ? Do you accept him as your Lord and your Savior? I was going through all that. You couldn't tell me nothing. And for some people that don't understand that connection with God, you will sound crazy to them. Then you want to speak scripture to them. You got to understand this. If they not there, it's foreign language. It's like you speaking Chinese to somebody that speaks English because you know Bible, because you know everybody else's story, and this is the way you tell about yourself. You talk about yourself by implementing scripture to answer questions, to have conversations. I did it all. Didn't realize I was doing it. Trying to be this real religious type, never want to sin type of man. Didn't want to step on cracks because I did not want to break my mother's back. Even when my pastor said one day, right? He says, show thyself approved. I'm like, to who? Unto God. It's my relationship with God, and the goal is to help you gain one. And if you notice, I said God, because you might not believe in Jesus Christ like that. You might be a Muslim. And I sponsored Muslims. They wasn't when they first got clean. That's the route they end up taking. But the point is, our journey is spiritual. It's not based around religion. It's spiritual. And when you feel like you need to use scripture to have a conversation with an individual, for 5 years I was at Brown's Memorial. For 3 years I was without a church because I was listening to Malachi York. That's why I don't let everybody feed my spirit. So you got to be careful. Malachi York. I was sponsoring a guy that followed Malachi York. Malachi York, what he said out of his mouth made sense to the mind. He said a woman cannot have a baby without a man. Then he said Mary got pregnant by Gabriel. Now, as a father myself, I knew my wife at that time couldn't get pregnant without me. So it made sense to the mind. Then he said this right here, once you gone, you gone. But you know Lazarus came back. So I'm like, God dang it, he right. Because I'm here. I'm here, I'm in my mind. So for 3 years, I was without a church family. Then I ended up going to the Church of the Redeemed. God guided me to the Church of the Redeemed. At that time, Sienna was like 2 months. She was born in January. We went in April. A day at a time. Been at the Church of Redeemed for 25 years, a little over. My pastor don't preach. He don't preach. He teach. When I went in, my family and I went into the Church of the Redeemed, it was like I was at an NA meeting. But it wasn't no cursing and all of that going on. But it was like I was at an NA meeting. He was breaking it down so plain and simple. My pastor didn't give you 5 or 6 verses to go and find and read. He would read one verse and he'd break that sucker down. He tore it apart. I'm like, how you get all that out of there? So this is the way. The reason why I'm saying this because I had to watch the way I fed my children. Little Steve was in the nursery, and he knew what Bishop was talking about because they had a TV in there. That's why when it come to us embracing God's people, you already know a lot of them are like infants. They are infants, but you want to feed them the whole steak because you there. So you want to make boom, boom, throw stuff at them, and they be like, wait a minute, hold. I don't understand Paul. I don't understand Matthews. I don't know about Titus. Timothy who? And please don't let me go too old. Now mind y'all, I'm starting to grow away from the religious side because my relationship with Christ was becoming personal. You gotta feed people or meet them at the level of where they at. When God said, come follow me, I'm going to make you fishers of men. Because they was real good at fishing. And he knew that they would be good at ministering to people. You got to meet people where they at. Broken. The same way God told Moses, go tell Pharaoh. I said, let my people go. They aren't your people. They was brought out of slavery. And look at the mental condition they was in. They was stuck in. They was more comfortable with being in slavery, even though they was out of it, they wanted to go back. Because that's a comfortable place for them. That's why I see what I see today. And it's not just the parents or the adults that I be talking to. I'm talking to the youth as well. The ones that understand clear, plain English. I don't speak Hebrew. I don't speak Japanese. So what I had to learn to do was keep it plain and keep it simple. And minister to your spirit. It's your spirit. And I don't care how old you is. Remember what I said? When the mother sign up for the program, and if the children, she got children 18, 19, 20 down to 7, she got to sign a 7-year-old up too. Because 9 times out of 10, she running raggedy, she running around doing certain things, right? She's introducing her kids to unstable behaviors, an unstructured way of life, way of living. So we have to help them balance back out their life. But I want to sit up here and try to minister to you, which basically I'm saying it. But guess what? Come with solutions. So I got a couple of more minutes here. Number one, let me say this. I need professionals. If you are a licensed clinical professionals, when I deal with the homeless and the less fortunate people, the veterans, the elders, and all of that, and when I'm interviewing them and I see that they need counseling or therapy or something like that, the goal is to guide them to you. I do a folder. I have folders. These are clients. I have to get your information. I put it in here. You have to fill out this. This is my intake form. You see that? That's my intake form. The ones that have the yellow on it are the people that say, like, some come in, they might be there a month or two. It's to get you out, get you in, get you out. But you got to do the necessary work. A lot of people don't do what I do. So don't judge me when I talk about the things that I do to help people to turn their lives around. Why would you want to judge somebody that takes the time out to help other people put their lives together? I don't have to do this. I am going to talk about business on here. I am going to talk about religion on here. I am going to talk about politics on here. And if you're not into that, then you don't need to be on here. Because I'm not going to adjust myself to you. When God called me to do certain things, I have to stay in order. So yes, to our youth, Stephen Copeland Jr., Multi-Purpose Center for Inner City Youth. I want a school so we can put programs in the facility. Music, art, theater, dancing, embracing their talents. BMore's Real Teen Talk. Embracing their talents. I ain't no joke. And I know people might feel like, oh, he need to act more professional. No, I'm real good when it comes to me dealing with professionals. Don't play with me. They know one thing about Big Steve. He don't joke when it comes to business. You better ask some of them. Now, the thing what I'm trying to get to, family, the BMore's Real Teen Talk Show. I'm going to say this again. Giving our youth a voice. I love the little segments when I watch people do this right here, family. We listen. Now, look, I'm kind of laughing, right? We listen and we try not to judge. You get it? We listen to what our children got to say. And we try not to judge them because sometimes they'll say stuff you like, I'm going to. But now, the reason why I say we listen and we try not to judge, a lot of us, I was going to say a lot of you, might be surprised if your son or your daughter come to you and say, "Ma, Uncle James or, Aunt Betty did this to me when I was 5 or 6, or the neighbor, and you might not want to believe it. You get it? They might come to you and tell you that that special man in your life did something to him, and you might not want to believe it. Then you'll turn around, you got a beautiful young daughter, right, princess, looking like a woman. And then your man, right, because he looking at you beautiful, and then your daughter beautiful. Sometimes men can't separate that. And that's why they will go after your young daughter. I don't even want to mention them being real, real young. Oh, Lord, have mercy. But this is what the BMore's Real Teen Talk Show is all about. Did I push you in there? This is what this show is all about. I want to fix it where the youth or the parents, where we can all talk. You get it? Where we can all talk about life in general as a whole. And I'm going to say this, parents, and y'all already know, if your stuff is not in order, you know your children messed up. You know your children messed up. We got to get it right. I love y'all. Tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, is the BMore's Teen Talk Show. So if you have a teenager and y'all going through a little issues right now, Be honest with you, I'm here. I'm a parent. Keep in mind, I was taught as a foster care parent how to deal with destructive children. Okay. A lot of times when you can't reach them, an outsider can. You get me? So I love y'all. It's 7 o'clock. I don't want to go past my I don't want to be too long because it's almost 7:01 now. But I love y'all and I'm out. I'm out. Bye.